Hey, my friends, in this video, we're going to talk about five of the top reasons, top fears that people in business have and how to overcome those fears. This is huge because so many people have different fears when it comes to being an entrepreneur or being a coach or being a consultant or direct sales or network marketing, any sort of business activity that involves some sort of sales. These are usually fears that people deal with. So the first thing we're going to do though, before we actually get into these five fears, is we're going to take the first step. And the first step for anybody, I don't care what you're in, if it's a career, business, consultant, entrepreneur, doesn't matter. First thing you should do when it comes to overcoming your fears is identify what those are. Take out a blank sheet of paper, take out a notepad, take out your journal, whatever it is. Whatever it is, take out something to write with and start listing all the things that you're afraid of. Now, you're not going to remember all these right offhand. Give yourself a few days. Start writing the list on, say, Monday, and then by Friday, hopefully you've completed your list. Maybe keep a pocket journal or pocket piece of paper or notepad. Because guess what? You're going to realize at some point throughout the week, you're going to go, oh, man, I'm afraid of running a yellow light. Anything. It doesn't matter if it's fears about business or not. Oh, man, I can't believe it. I was afraid to call that person. I just realized that. So anything you can think of. Is it fear of the sale? Fear of asking for the sale? Is it fear of not feeling good enough? Whatever your fear is. Whatever your fear is about yourself or your business, write those down. Make a list. Because you can't address those fears. You can't try to overcome the fears unless you identify what they are. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, Tony, I know what I'm afraid of. I know it in my head. But yes, I agree. So do I. However, until you put that down on paper and actually look at it as a list, you're not really thinking of them all at once. You're thinking it one at a time, and then it gets lost until the next time it comes about. By having that list, you're able to address things that you're not necessarily thinking about all the time. Okay, so now, fear number one, it's one of the huge ones for people just getting started in business, is fear of a lack of authority. You'd like to tell yourself, why should people listen to me? I'm just getting started. I don't know what I'm talking about. As a coach, I'm no Tony Robbins or I'm no Gary Vaynerchuk. Why should people listen to me? That is one of those things that you got to get over. Why should people listen to you? Because you've done the research, you've studied, and you have the power. And part of that is telling yourself that. A lot of people talk about affirmations and vision, but it really does work. It really does work. So try telling yourself, whether you're a coach or you're an entrepreneur. Let's say you're an entrepreneur. You just every morning and every night, tell yourself, I am the greatest entrepreneur anybody's ever met. Anybody's ever met. Yes, at first it's going to seem kind of lame. You're going to be like, oh, come on, Tony. I don't want to say that. Say it out loud. You're like, I don't want to say that. However, when you do, and you do repeatedly, it messes with your subconscious mind. And after a few days, a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, you're going to start believing that. Your mind's going to start believing that. And then that confidence is going to come back where you're not going to worry about whether people think you're an authority or not. You're going to be like, I am that authority. And it's going to help you build that confidence and take care of those customers or those prospects that you're trying to take care of. Now, fear number two, it's not good enough. We're always telling ourselves, oh, it's not good enough. That blog's not good enough. That post isn't good enough. That video is not good enough. The blah, 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 blah. That perfectionist syndrome, trying to be a perfectionist, is a killer. It's a killer. Forget it. Just release it. Whether it's a video, a post, a blog, an email, just send it. Just release it. I can't count how many times I've talked to folks where they're sitting here and they're like, okay, well, now it's time for you to go live. Go live on video. Do a live video. And she's like, well, my hair's not right. I'm going to go in the shower first. No, you do it right now. Who cares? Because people want to see that you're human. They don't want to see somebody that's gussied up all the time. They want to see that you're a human being and you're real like everybody else. So stop trying to make it perfect. I don't care if it's a blog. I don't care if it's an email. I don't care if it's a Facebook post, Instagram post, whatever. Stop trying to make it perfect and just send it. Just release it. Let it go. You're going to get more reactions from something that's real versus something that seems staged. So just do it. Fear number three. There's too much to do. You've got a checklist that's a mile long and you're getting overwhelmed because there's so much you got to do. You're like, I don't know if I have enough hours in the day or in the week or in the month to get all this stuff done. And so you end up not doing any of it. You procrastinate because you're worried about getting this done or getting that done, so you don't do anything. Start small. Say, okay, let's say I'm trying to write a book. Well, stop. Take what looks like a project like this and let's take it down to this. I'm going to write 1 page a day, or I'm going to write 200 words a day. 200 words a day is nothing. That's a page and a half, maybe. I'm going to write 200 words a day. Next thing you know, 3 or 4 months, you've got a full book. It doesn't have to happen overnight. So take bite-sized pieces. You're like, okay, I need 100 new clients by the end of the year, or within a year to really get my business where it's at. Great. How many people do you need to talk to? I don't know, 1,000? Cool. Well, let's try 5 a day. Instead of thinking I got to talk to 100 a day, I'm just going to talk to 5 a day. And then that adds up. Even just a normal 5-day week, business week, that's 25 a week. Now, if you go Saturday and Sunday, you're talking about 35 a week. Now you do that for 4 weeks out of the month, you're talking about 120 to 140 people. Now, within a year, you've easily talked to more than 1,000 people, and you should have the business that you're looking for. So bite-sized pieces. Keep it small, keep it simple, keep them bite-sized. You may have a long list, but take little pieces of it. You know, the proverb, you know, how do you eat an elephant? And it's 1 bite at a time. It's the same thing. The journey of 1,000 miles always starts with a single step. And that's the way we look at it from business. Take those little steps, those baby steps, 1 step at a time. Fear number 4, fear of people saying no. We're so afraid of hearing the word no. We spend our lives being people pleasers that we always put ourselves in situations where somebody's going to say yes. So we don't get that feeling of rejection. You know, we play it safe. We're like, oh, I'm so afraid of that person saying no. I'm going to go talk to this person instead because I know they're probably going to say yes. Or I'm going to present it this way because that way I won't get a hear or no from them. Yeah, you know, I'm not even going to ask for the sale because I know they're going to tell me no. Stop. Instead of worrying about no, take the no out of it. Take the yes or no out of it. Take the fact that there's a decision completely out of it. Just have a conversation with somebody. Have a conversation, whether it's over Messenger, whether it's live on Zoom, whether it's over the phone. Just have a conversation. That's number 1. Number 2, start thinking about the benefit that you're offering. If you say you don't want to come off as salesy, that is the biggest load of garbage I've ever heard, because everything in this world has to do with sales. Asking your boss for a raise, that's basically selling them. The time your teenager comes and asks for an extra hour or 2 on their curfew, that's selling. The time that you asked your husband or wife to go have that guy's weekend or that lady's weekend, that was selling. Every single thing in this world has to do with selling. However, we don't think about it that way unless there's a product in front of us. So take the selling out of it. Take the yes or no out of it. Have a conversation and understand the benefit. If somebody really has a problem, let's say you're in health and wellness and somebody's got, you know, anxiety and you have a product that's going to help their anxiety. Don't think about that. Just think about how you're helping them. Forget about the yes or no. Talk about how you're helping them. And don't worry about whether they say yes or no. I know, trust me, I know it's easier said than done, but with practice, you'll start to understand what I'm talking about. So that was number 4. Fear number 5. Fear of selling. The fear of selling. That is it. And that's back to what I was just talking about now. You're worried about the fear of saying no, but this is the fear of actually asking for the sale. Most people don't do that. Most people are just sitting here they're having their conversation. They're great. Oh, it's going great. Awesome. And it comes time to ask, and they're like, all right, great. Thanks. Have a great day. Click. And never actually ask for the sale. You know, you're never going to get anything in life without asking for it. You seriously, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So what's the issue with asking? Why does it matter? So somebody says no, so what? Gone. Not saying kick them to the window, but I'm saying they're not necessarily saying no, they're saying not now. However, if you don't ask at all, the answer is always no. And you're never going to get what you want. So just ask. Take the time, just ask. It's not going to hurt anything. Nobody's going to think less of you. And if they do, they're probably not the right person you should be talking to anyway. So get over that. The fear of asking for the sale is just asking. It's the same thing we just talked about. It's like asking your wife or husband for the weekend away, or for going golfing with the guys, or going out shopping with the girls, or your teenager asking for that. All of that happens from asking. Nothing happens from not asking. So always ask. So those are the top 5 fears and how to list your fears, and list your fears so that you can attack each one. And we'll get into more of that another time. So let me know what you thought below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And always remember, never forget to be schmaltzy. Take care, my friends.